Okay, what if I told you that your most persistent, most annoying flaws, well, what if they weren't flaws at all? What if they were actually divine messages in disguise? Today, we're going to dive into this really fascinating idea that totally reframes our biggest struggles as spiritual callings. Let's get into it.
So let's just start with this question right here. I want you to think about that one thing. You know the one, the pattern you've been battling for years that you just can't seem to shake? Could it be something more than just a personal failing? Well, according to the ideas we're exploring today, the answer to that is a huge, profound yes.
And here's the core idea, right? For certain people, these so-called vices, they're not random at all. They're actually seen as very specific spiritual signals, kind of like a flare in the sky, identifying souls who are destined for these really extraordinary missions. So let's break down the very first one of these divine signs.
First on the list is a feeling I think so many of us know all too well. It's that constant, nagging sense that something's missing, you know? No matter what you accomplish or buy or experience, there's always this persistent, unquenchable emptiness inside.
So here's the big reframe. On one hand, society might look at this and label it as greed or materialism or even addictive behavior. But from this spiritual perspective, it's actually a divine restlessness. It's the feeling of a soul that just knows it's meant for something much bigger than what earthly pleasures can offer. It's your soul actively saying, nope, this isn't it, to mediocrity.
You see, this thirst, it has a purpose. It's not there to torture you, it's there to propel you forward. It's the thing that keeps you from settling for less. It sharpens your spiritual radar, protects you from wasting time on shallow connections, and all that emptiness, it's actually creating the space for your real mission to finally show up. Now, let's get into the next sign.
Okay, sign number 2 is this deep, often really misunderstood need for solitude. And this is way more than just being an introvert. It's a powerful, almost magnetic pull to be alone, which the source material calls attending a cosmic university for one. I love that.
Your friends and family, they might worry, right? They might think you're being antisocial or that you're depressed. But from this viewpoint, your solitude is actually where the most important work gets done. It's where you receive these profound insights, these divine downloads, and where you get to process your entire spiritual journey.
So your alone time isn't empty space. It's incredibly productive. This is when your intuition gets razor sharp and your spiritual gifts start to come online. Think of it as a necessary reset, shielding you from all the outside noise so you can hear your higher self and reconnect with your true mission.
Now for a tricky one, the need to control. You know what I'm talking about, that compulsive urge to manage everything and everyone around you, to fix every problem, to bring order to every bit of chaos. It can be so stressful, but here it's seen as the burden of a natural-born healer.
Other people might look at this and see a big ego or a savior complex, but from this perspective, it's actually your soul recognizing its assignment. It's not about wanting power over others, it's this deep, unconscious response to an inner calling to bring healing and balance to a pretty chaotic world.
And get this, every time you try to control something and it doesn't work out, you're not just failing, you're training. You're in the gym, strengthening your spiritual muscles, developing real leadership skills, and learning one of the biggest lessons of all for your mission, the balance between taking action and when to just surrender to a higher plan.
This brings us to what might be the most profound sign of them all, a life that just seems to have an unfair amount of pain. You know? Constant struggle, heartbreak after heartbreak, and loss. The idea here is that these chosen souls aren't being punished, they're being forged.
It is so easy to see a life full of hardship as just bad luck, or maybe even some kind of punishment. But this perspective flips that completely on its head. Your pain is described as the curriculum for an advanced spiritual training program. It's not random. It's a precisely designed course to build the exact qualities you're going to need for your destiny.
So what's the point of all this suffering? Well, every single challenge is a tool. Financial struggles, they teach you compassion. Betrayal, it hones your discernment. It's not just about making you tough, it's about giving you your credentials. Because you can't truly heal what you haven't experienced yourself. Your pain builds the deep empathy and authentic wisdom you'll need to guide other people.
And all of this, it leads to one powerful final concept that just ties everything together perfectly. It's called the sacred wound. And it's the idea that your deepest, most agonizing pain is actually the source of your greatest power.
Now, this isn't just any old trauma. The sacred wound is a core, recurring theme of suffering in your life that's directly linked to your purpose. So, for example, if your wound is abandonment, your mission is probably going to involve helping others feel a sense of belonging. The wound itself is literally a roadmap to your mission.
And we all go on a journey with this wound, don't we? First, we try to run from it, avoid it. Then we try to fix it with things outside of ourselves. But the real magic, the real shift, happens at acceptance, when you finally stop fighting it and you start to understand its divine purpose. And that leads to the final stage, transformation, where you literally alchemize that pain into a powerful tool for healing.
And here's how it really works. Your personal, intimate experience of that specific suffering gives you this deep, intuitive understanding of that pain in all of its forms. Your wound becomes a portal, giving you access to the collective experience of that same pain, which makes you an incredibly effective healer and guide for others.
So that thing, the source of your deepest agony, it is not a life sentence of misery. It is the raw material. It is the very foundation of the greatest gift you have to give to the world. Your pain becomes your power, and your scars become your credentials.
So, I'll leave you with this question to really think about. After looking at these signs, that infinite thirst, the sacred solitude, the need to control, that path of pain, which one of your so-called flaws might actually be your calling? What part of your struggle is just sitting there, waiting to be transformed into your greatest strength?